Yo, what's going on, everybody? You are watching the Jets Report by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, let's get the optimism going. We're going to be going over 8 reasons why you Jets fans should be excited about the future of New York Jets football. Because everybody, this time of the year, people are saying nobody wants to play for the Jets. The Jets are the biggest joke in the National Football League, which may be true as we're filming this video right now, but there is a lot to be optimistic about as we're going to be diving into on today's show. And number one, nobody can compete with the New York Jets in terms of future draft capital. Like, that's the one thing that you can say over the next 3 seasons. Nobody's got better draft capital than the New York Jets. And we obviously know, in future years like 2027 having 3 first-round picks, and like that is great. 2028 still having your first and all those picks there. But I really think this season is when the New York Jets could really take advantage. I mean, the draft capital in 2026, them having 2 first-rounders, pick number 2, pick number 16, that's absolutely massive. That can't be understated. Then in round 2, you got 2 picks at pick 33 and pick 44. In total, you got 4 picks in the top 45. But then you also got 2 comp picks in the 5th round, 175, 178, 2 6, and 2 7s. So let's just say you hit on 2 starters in rounds 5, 6, and 7. You nail maybe 3 of your first 4 picks. You could potentially be leaving this draft with 6 or 7 starters when it's all said and done. And, the number one way you turn a football team around is you build through the NFL draft. It's not free agency. It's not landing a blockbuster trade. It is over and over again, draft after draft after draft. You hit on draft picks. I think this past draft, the Jets hit on Armo Membu. That's going to be great. That is your right tackle of the future. That is a position that you won't need to look about for the next probably 10 to 12 years for this franchise. So if you have a great 2026 draft, you start building something, then you could potentially look into 2027, then you start going maybe less BPA and more positional value for this team. You start filling some holes, and it's like, all right, we have another good free agency, couple of good drafts, and it's like 2028, whatever quarterback's in there. Obviously, it's a huge question mark now with this team, but at least right now, they have a really good chance to build a more complete roster because you can have all the free agency money you want. That's not nearly as valuable as having a boatload of premium draft capital for the Jets. But number 2, I think you do have some young offensive talent. And listen, that's why I think like the whole reports of like, oh, Dante Moore shouldn't want to go play for the New York Jets, yada yada yada. Like, I understand like the organization has been a joke, but you'd be lying to yourself if you said they don't have offensive talent. I mean, Garrett Wilson is a top 10 wide receiver in the league. I think Mason Taylor showed a lot of flashes this past season. I think he could end up being a top 10 tight end when it's all said and done in a couple of years here in the NFL. Braelon Allen, I'm huge on him. Hopefully he's able to bounce back from that knee injury and be the same guy he was back in his rookie campaign. But then it's also huge for a young quarterback. You got your tackles of the future, Fashanu and Membu. That is huge for a young QB. So you got a wide receiver, you got a tight end, you got a running back, and you got 2 good tackles. And that's why this Jets offense, you don't really have too many positions of need outside of the quarterback position. Like, yes, would you like maybe an upgrade at wide receiver 2? Would you like an upgrade maybe at the left guard spot instead of John Simpson or the center spot with Josh Myers? Absolutely. But also, most teams in the NFL don't go 11 for 11 when you're checking every box offensively. The Jets can check most of their boxes and the most important boxes offensively. 2 tackles, a wide receiver, a really good running back, and hopefully you are able to develop some of those guys in the interior of the offensive line. You could have one of the better offensive lines in the league. And even though I don't think cap flexibility is as important as future draft capital when building a more complete team, but the Jets definitely do have that, which is obviously huge. They got a bunch of money to spend over the next 3 seasons, around $66 million to spend this upcoming year. Now, this is all due to, these numbers are all coming into from over the cap here. So they got $66 million in 2026. In 2027, they skyrockets up to $188 million, and in 2028, $253 million. Now, obviously, most teams have a lot of money in 27, 28. But since the Jets really aren't paying too many key guys long-term, big money contracts, like there will be a big spender in free agency for each of these next 3 seasons. So you got draft capital, young offensive talent, cap flexibility. You got the bones here to turn it around. If you guys are fired up for the Jets' future, go down there and hit that thumbs up icon for us on today's show. I'm excited. Obviously hope. And I think potential is one of the worst words in sports because it's just fake and, fans can get delusional. But I think this is a good time to get a little delusional because it's not like the Jets just have their own draft capital and that's it. Like they have loaded up here and they are a sleeping giant potentially here if they can really turn around and hit on a lot of these draft picks. So if you guys could hit that thumbs up icon. And number 4 for us, we talk about the offensive line. No, listen, I think the offensive line played decent this season. I think the interior is still a huge question mark. I think you got your tackles, though. Now, I will say a lot of these PFF grades for the offensive line you'll see on screen, maybe saying, all right, well, what are we really writing home about here? But I think you got your right guard, your right tackle, and your left tackle of the future. I think Joe Tippmann did a fantastic job. Also, with these PFF numbers, you got to think about how bad the Jets' offense was this season. Like, teams were just completely selling out on the run the second half of the year, especially later on. So, yes, you probably need to get an upgrade at the left guard spot eventually. Maybe you need to upgrade the center spot. But I think if you just roll back this offensive line heading into next season, I think that's a huge positive. And, the interior of the offensive line still has major question marks in my opinion, but having 2 elite young tackles is huge for just roster construction moving forward. Like, it is so nice that Darren Mougey and his staff, they don't need to be like, all right, how are we going to go fill that left tackle spot? One of the most important positions on the entire offense and the entire team. Like, at least you got those 2 there. Also, number 5, how about a little love for Chris Banjo? The Jets had the best special teams in the NFL this past season. There's no doubt about it. And obviously, a lot of credit goes to Isaiah Williams, Kene Nwangwu. I thought they had great seasons as well, returning the football. But, special teams is obviously not nearly as important as just offense and defense. But, the old cliche, you got to be good in all 3 phases. And special teams can flip games. Like, the Jets, the difference between them winning 1 game this season and 3 games was the special teams. Like, they, on paper, were a 1-win team with how bad they were. But especially that Falcons game, that was flipped by the special teams. The Browns game, you had 2 special teams touchdowns. That was flipped by the special teams. Bengals, I think you can give all the credit, to Justin Fields, who had a great game that game, and the entire offense, dropping, 38 points in that one. But special teams pushed the Jets from a 1-win team to a 3-win team. You may be saying, oh, well, that's nothing. Well, what if next year they have the best special teams again? Jets are like a 6-win team, but special teams wins you 2 or 3, and you're potentially floating around 500. Shout out to Chris Banjo, and also shout out to the GM, Darren Mougey. I think he has actually had a very good run as the Jets GM. I thought the draft class this past year had some misses on the back end, but I still think overall, and there's still some question marks here, like who knows what A.Z. Thomas will be, who knows what Malachi Moore will be, but I think you for sure have a home run in Armand Membu. Arian Smith is looking like a miss. Tyler Barron, who knows there, but I mean, if A.Z. Thomas can end up hitting, looking at your first 3 selections and you having 3 starters there, and Membu obviously being a world-class right tackle for this team. So it looks like he's got his head on straight in terms of drafting. We'll also see about a guy like Malachi Moore. But, I mean, the best move he made so far is no doubt the Sauce Gardner trade. I mean, the fact that you're able to get 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell for a guy like Sauce Gardner, who's still a top 10 cornerback in the league. But, again, like he's got a massive contract. The Jets weren't in a position at the time when they needed to have a cornerback making $30+ million per year. So that trade was great. But also another great trade was just a good old-fashioned 6th for 7th round pick swap where you also landed Juwan Briggs, which I thought was a fantastic move because if you were looking at this team, you could probably make the argument Juwan Briggs is the best player on defense. So this was a great trade. So I believe in Darren Mougey, but you guys let me know your thoughts down below. Do you believe in Darren Mougey? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. All right, we'll get to more reasons here in a second. But we do have a sweet deal going on for you guys right now at chatsports.com/Jets long sleeve. This long sleeve is over 50% off right now. So click that link in the comment section and description of today's show, chatsports.com/Jets long sleeve. All right, number 7 on why to be excited is just QB optimism. Now, obviously, you could view this as a negative, as the Jets have no plan right now at the quarterback position, but also the door is open on whoever could be brought in here. That is also, like, I mean, you look at the Raiders. Like, when they were at the spot they were last season, they had no optimism at the quarterback spot. But, hey, they walked into the number 1 overall pick. They look like they have their franchise guy in Fernando Mendoza, or even a team like the New York Giants. They ended up trading back up into the first, got a guy like Jackson Dart. Now, they think they got their guy. There are ways to find the franchise quarterback, not just drafting high, not just trading for a guy. So that avenue, that door is wide open. It also takes, what if a Burrow requests a trade? What if Lamar Jackson requests a trade? Like, that door is open. They aren't, like, tied to anybody right now, or it's not like they're tied, to, let's just say, a middle-of-the-pack quarterback who's on a big contract. Like, the door is wide open on who they could bring in. So I think that's great. And then, hey, it can't get any worse those could be some famous last words, but I really do believe from a football perspective, it truly can't get any worse than this because last year, especially in December, the Jets reached rock bottom. I mean, we showed you guys all the stats about point differential that in the month of December, the Jets had the worst of all time. And I mean, just the entire season was a disaster. I mean, 32nd in point differential, 32nd in turnover differential, 32nd in yard differential. The only team ever to rank last in all three categories. On paper, they were the worst team in the National Football League. You know, when you throw on the film, they were the worst team in the National Football League. So hopefully this is rock bottom. Probably can't get any much worse than this. And, that's another reason to be optimistic because next year, hey, if you weren't with us at 3-14, don't be with us at 5-12. And hopefully the Jets can just have a good year next year. But you guys should be optimistic, and you guys should be fired up for the Jets' future. So if you guys are, just hit me with a me down below in the comment section. We do appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button on your way out. Keep you guys posted with multiple videos, potentially per day around your New York Jets. And we'll get on out of here. As always, go Jets.